Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of Your Life Path. This week we're talking about something that we can all relate with, and it's going to be the bad word, addiction. Dun, dun, dun. This one's titled Overcoming Addictions, Healing the Separation from Within. Yeah, so I think when people hear addiction, they automatically assume drugs or alcohol, but I think it's more than that. I think it's something that people use to distract, escape, or avoid what's really going on inside. I think it's something that we all deal with, whether you're aware about it or not. Actually, I think it stems deeper than that. There's a lot of forms of addiction. I think for all of us, our phone, iPhone and Androids are coming after me, and Google now, but yeah, right. So constant scrolling on the phone is a form of addiction. And I feel addiction can cause separation between us and God, separation between us and our soul, separation between us and happiness, and separation between us and the people that we love, right? So we're going to dive in deep about addiction. I'm going to share a little bit about my story, things that I've dealt with and I've overcome. Thank the Lord, God Almighty. Right, so I made a list of different forms of addictions. I'm just going to read off the list because it's a bunch of them. And you know, I'm sure one of us can relate, or all of us can relate to at least one of them, right? So different forms of addiction can be constant scrolling on our phones. I think that's everybody, right? I had to get an app actually to tell me, to limit me on my time on social media and other apps that I use, especially YouTube. Shout out YouTube. Overeating. Overeating is a big one because a lot of people can stress eat. Even though you're full, you'll still want to eat, right? So that's another one. Gambling. People who watch sports gamble all the time. Seeking validation. Pornography. Emotional codependency. Workaholism. I just got goosebumps. I feel like I'm being attacked right now. Right here, this guy. I think working is fun for me, but I might overdo it sometimes. So guilty as charged. And the last one is toxic relationships. Who can relate there? I think everybody can at one time in their lives. Addiction is something that we return to again and again, normally because we're avoiding something deeper. It's a symptom of pain. I have a list of addictions and what they translate to in the body. So normally when somebody lusts, it's because they're seeking union. When there's gluttony, the body's seeking nourishment. When there's greed, the body's seeking generosity. When there's jealousy or envy, they're actually seeking to love others. Anger and wrath, they're seeking justice. Sloth or overworking, the body's seeking peace. Ego or pride, the body's seeking self-love, right? So I think we can all relate to one of those. Or maybe you're a self-righteous person and you're perfect. Shout out to you. I'd like to meet you. So yeah, addiction causes separation and builds up walls. And the first one I want to talk about is the wall between you and God that you create. And normally between you and God, the relationship, sometimes we tend to numb as opposed to surrender and listen to our calling. You know, sometimes God will have you ever have that feeling where you're just out doing your thing and then like you just get this thought hit and it's like, hey, go do that. Go talk to that person or go pray for that person or give that person a couple dollars. And then you're just like, oh shit. Then we get off afraid and you start getting anxious for no reason. You know, sometimes that's the Holy Spirit calling you to act. Right. So when you're in addiction, you numb yourself from that. And now you're not becoming a vessel to God, for God to work through you. Right. So that's the one wall that we build up. The second one is when you create a wall, you're creating a wall between you and your soul. La alma, they call it in Spanish. Right. And then there, when you're creating that separation, is you're no longer listening to your intuition. It's no longer able to guide you and lead you to things. You're just kind of like, the best way I can explain it is you're not even on the playing field to be able to run a play, you know, and and listen to the soul. So that's something that's really big, because in order to find your purpose, as we've been talking about, is the soul will lead you and guide you, as well as God. You know, they work together trying to help you find yourself and your purpose. But if we're in addiction, then we're blocking that channel and not allowing us to have that connection that we need. So the next wall that you create when you're in addiction is between you and happiness. You are seeking happiness through whatever form of addiction that you have, right? Whether it be a phone, whether it be a drug, whether it be alcohol. And what you're really doing is you're just numbing it. You're numbing the pain that you're feeling, that you're not willing to confront. And you find a temporary high, like a euphoric feeling, like some form of happiness. That's not real. That's not sustainable, right? So that's something where we all want to be happy at the end of the day, right? Duh. We all want to smile. Smile and be happy. Don't worry. Be happy. Anyways, I remember that fish that would do that. And so when you're in any type of addiction, you're not allowing yourself to really be happy, to find fulfillment within enjoyment. So the last wall that we create is between us and other people, right? We form a distance between people, and we isolate or project our pain onto them. And, you know, nowadays you see a lot of people constantly on their phones looking down like this and not even having a simple conversation with somebody. I don't think we even know how to communicate, especially the younger crowds. They don't even know what that is. It's going extinct. But here's the truth. What you don't face will control you. And freedom begins the moment you stop running and say, I'm ready to heal. So yeah, I'm going to share a little bit about my story, because you know how I do it. We get deep in here. We're real. We get vulnerable. And so something for me that I dealt with a lot growing up was marijuana. It was my addiction. I think I first smoked when I was in 7th grade in New York, believe it or not. And I didn't for a while until after high school. And then I got really heavy into it. And I would smoke at least 5 to 6 times a day. And it became something that every day, that's what I would look forward to in the day. Like, ooh, what do I get to smoke? And that like superseded everything else that I was supposed to do that day. And sometimes it was bad to where if I had plans and a friend would say, hey, you want to smoke? I would just cancel my plans and then go smoke. And then there goes my whole day. And so it was very unproductive. And it's something that I battled with in my 20s a lot. And, you know, I was a bartender in my early 20s. So I lived the night lifestyle. And I think that kind of like affected it or helped ignite what I was doing and making it seem okay. And, you know, looking back at it now, I was just numbing the pain that I felt inside and not confronting it. And the pain that I felt was just not being enough, not being happy with my current situations or circumstances. And so what would I do? I would smoke and I would just forget about it all. And I would numb it and I would feel happy for, you know, those 30 minutes to an hour or whatever. And it just became like a daily routine. It was real bad. I remember I would wake up early in the morning. I would smoke and then go to the gym and work out. And it's funny because when I was younger, I remember seeing a gentleman, we were working out, and I didn't smoke at the time, right? I was still drug free. I was part of DARE. And this guy was like, hey, can you spot me? And I was like, yeah, bro. That was back when Pump was around. I was like, yeah, bro, I'll spot you. He's like, it's because I'm high. And I just remember thinking like, dude, how can you work out and be high? Like, what? And then fast forward, I'm getting high and then working out. So it's not good. Kids, say no to drugs. And so marijuana was a big thing that I had to overcome. And it took a long time. But the thing is, the weird part is I never thought I was addicted. I could always make a claim of why it's good for you and why everybody should be smoking, not knowing that's what an addict does. Damn it. Right? And so it wasn't until my later 20s when I was like, okay, this needs to stop. This isn't productive. I had to take a look at myself and see, okay, where are you in life? Are you happy with where you're at in life? And I wasn't. And the thing is, when I would smoke, I would want to be alone. I wouldn't want to be around people. I'd want to be secluded. And so it created a lot of separation between me and my family, because I would rather get high every day and then I wouldn't be able to go see them, because I was like, no, they can't see me high. They're going to judge me. They're going to talk shit to me or whatever. And that created a lot of distance between us, right? So in my 30s, I had a lot of making up to do, which I'm doing now. But marijuana was something for me that created that separation between everything and me. And it isolated me. And it made me feel less of a person and not worthy. Another really big addiction for me was pornography. And I think it's for a lot of people, actually, but they just won't admit it. But I will. I struggled with that. And I remember the first time I saw pornography, I was 17 years old. And it's because I never had that conversation about the birds and the bees. So I was really curious, right? And so I saw pornography to try to learn how to have sex. And I think that's how most people get started with it. But then it becomes something that you're constantly watching, right? And masturbating too. And so for me, that's something that I struggled with all in my 20s. And I became numb to the whole needing a person and wanting to be with somebody, because I would just masturbate. And I'd be like, well, do I really want to deal with the person's attitude, or just, do the thing? And another one was, you ever feel anxious or stressed out that you just like start eating whatever you see, or like devour, like King Kong, just rampage. Let me see the pantry, what it's in there, chips and this, and constantly eating when I'm not even hungry, just because I was stressed and anxious. I would just start scavenging the pantry room and seeing what I could get. And that's how I started gaining a lot of weight. And that's something that I dealt with recently, actually, overeating. Like 4 months ago, I was at 250 pounds. I'm at 210 now. So I started being more disciplined with my eating habits. Intermittent fasting for me has helped a lot. And I have that window from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. to eat. And I try to just limit my carb intake. No bad carbs, good fats, avocados, veggies, a lot of protein, and liquids. I just drink water and a black coffee every now and then, iced, because it's the best. And so I didn't overcome all my addictions at the same time. Each ones were at different stages of my life. The first one was marijuana, smoking. I had to really look at that and say, Chris, this isn't helping you. I know you like how you feel, but you're not being productive with your time. And you only live once. YOLO, like Drake says. Shout out Drake. Like my page. And so that helped me, like, okay, I'm confronting this. MJ, I called her MJ. We can no longer be friends. You're not helping me get to my goals. And so I had to cut it off. And on that one, I went cold turkey. I was like, this isn't good. I'm real like that. Like, hey, if you tell me to do something, then I'm just going to do it. If you say it's going to help me, that's okay. From one day to the next, let's do it. So that's what I did. I stopped smoking. The next addiction that I had to overcome that was really hurting me was pornography and masturbation. I would find myself just sometimes at night, just, pulling one or just beating it. I don't know what you want to call it. Masturbating. Earmuffs for the people. Earmuffs. Masturbation. And that was numbing me, because I would do that. I did that for so long that I never even seeked a relationship. I was just like, in my own little cocoon, in my own little world. The walls that I had set up, I was isolated. And so that was a form of me to also release stress sometimes. And so I had to confront that one. And the way I did that is on my social media pages, I stopped following provocative people like models, all this other stuff. And then what's weird now is actually they're now creating AI women. They're not even real women, they're AI. And it's just like, it's crazy. So I feel like social media wants that for people. Like they want to suck you in. So you got to be aware of that and cautious. And what I did is I just stopped following all those pages. And then on Instagram, I started following a lot of spiritual pages. And then when you click on a story, you can click view more like this. And then I started fixing everything. When I click on the search button on Instagram, now it just shows like motivational stuff, spiritual stuff. And that's helped me a lot. So one thing I was looking up is when we masturbate and release, that energy is so powerful that you don't want to be doing it all the time, right? And for me, I had to look at it like, one, I was creating a disconnect between me and the opposite sex. Two, I was creating a separation between me and God, right? So whenever we do things that are of the ego, right, or a sin, depending what you want to label it, either or, it's the same thing. Whenever you're committing those type of things, you are distancing yourself from the Creator, from God. And you're not able to see more manifestations, more blessings, either or, however you want to say it. But you're pushing yourself away from the universe, the energy that flows through all of us, right? So, and that's what I mean when you're creating these walls. So the more addictions that we have, the more walls that we create that separate us from God. Another one that's, I'm going to admit it, the one that I'm currently struggling with, my addiction, is workaholism, or as I like to call it, workaholics. That's a good show. Well, it was right back in the day when I used to watch it. I don't watch that no more. Yeah. Hustle hard every day, 24/7. You only have 24 hours a day. What are you doing with them? You only sleep 8. You only need 6 hours of sleep. Right? So that's the kind of motivational videos I watch. They pump me up. Push through the pain. Maybe I start doing some motivational videos. Who knows, right? That's next step. I'll make a note of that. But yeah, for me, what I'm currently dealing with is workaholism, just because I felt like I lost a lot of time in my 20s that I'm making up for it in my 30s. And I'm just pushing, going. And sometimes I don't feel it, but my body's just like, hey, man, we need a break. And so every now and then my body would just shut down and not want to do anything and sleep in. Normally on like a Saturday is when that happens, because I'll go so hard Monday through Friday, wake up at 5, go work out, come to work, be here at my office till 8-9 p.m. most days, doing a bunch of things. And for me, I don't notice it because I find fulfillment in what I'm doing, right? Like I'm not just working, I'm working on different things, different projects, some marketing videos, that cool anime video that I did. And, I'm happy while I'm doing it, but it's my body's still exerting a lot of energy. And so I need to be cautious of it. So that's something that I'm working on now. And it's funny because they say sometimes, we're so concentrated on an outcome. Like, I need this to happen and I want it to happen like this. And so you're just like working, going, making sure that happens like that. And sometimes it's easier if you just let go, find peace, and the outcome will still happen. And that's what I've been realizing, honestly. Because I mean, I still work, right? I work a lot, but I've learned that when I try not to control an outcome and just kind of leave it to God, surrendering, right? Be like, God, may your will be done, and I've been finding more success that way. So if you guys really want to try it, I recommend that. Just, ease up on the wheel, unbuckle your seatbelt, hop onto the passenger side, and let God be on the driver's seat and let him take the wheel. This is my recommendation for all things, actually. And for me, it's been working out great. So I'm a testimony to that. And, I think when we're in survival mode or struggling is when we tend to get hooked on more addictions, because you're trying to avoid the real reason of why you're feeling the way you are. You're avoiding the confrontation that's needed to heal, right? That's what we were talking about. And in those moments, you just don't know what to do when you feel so anxious or stressed out, whether it's be like, how am I going to, pay the rent or etc. I mean, there's so many different things that we stress about, right? Every day, all the time. But if you can just release that and just pray, honestly, pray and ask God to help you and to guide you and to lead you. And I promise that he will. That's been my experience. And the thing is, sometimes when we're in those moments of struggle, we turn away from God, but he's there. He wants to help you, but we're the ones that choose not to. And maybe it's because you don't feel worthy enough, or, whatever it might be. But the truth is, we're all his children and he wants to help us all. God loves and he wants us to succeed. We just got to be open and willing to let him take control, and us, like I said, go to the passenger seat, let him take the wheel. And then within that, you'll realize that you're not stressing as much. You're not anxious as much, because you know with full confidence that God has a plan for me and it's going to work out that way. And when you can think like that, you get so much peace in just everyday life that it's amazing. Like for me, I don't let people's words make me feel any type of way. It's just like, okay, cool. Like, I see it for what it is. That person's dealing with something, and I wish them the best. But it helps me to not stress about anything. Right. But doesn't mean you're just like chill, right? You still got to take action on everything. That'd be great if we can just chill and you get everything you want, but that wouldn't be fun. What's the fun in that, right? Fulfillment is the journey, the grind that you're going through, right? Because you get to appreciate things more. So for me, what's been helping is just having peace on the outcome, because it's going to be God's outcome that he wants for me. And for me, it's just, okay, God, I'm going to be the vessel. I'm going to do my part, which is work, take action on what it is you're asking me to do, or what I feel you're asking me to do, and he'll take the rest. So I recommend that for you guys, and I hope that helps. So I printed a list of some questions to sit with and journal about. If you journal, right? If not, just ask yourself out loud. But the first one is, what am I using to escape? The second one is, what pain am I trying not to feel? Oof, that's a deep one. Third one is, how can I bring God into that space instead? The fourth one is, what would healing look like one step at a time? That's deep. And a thing that we can do is also just find alternatives for those addictions. So there's this really good book that my life coach recommended to me, and I listened to it on Audible. It's called The 5 Choices, The Path to Extraordinary Productivity. I really recommend it because that helped me. What it does, it gives you 4 quadrants, right? And it allows you to allocate your daily tasks into, are they important, not important, wasting time? And so it helps you organize, and that way for example, like scrolling on the phone or watching Netflix all the time or something like that, and you ask yourself, is this helping me reach my current goals, or is it hindering me? And I started doing that, and it's been super helpful that everything I do now, I ask that question. Is this helping me or is it hindering me? Is this helping me get closer to my goals or not? Right? And your goals don't have to be all about work and business. It can be goals with your family, with yourself, with your pets. Like me, I'm learning to play piano right now, so that's one of my goals. Right? So it's not always like work. It's just making the most out of your time and avoiding those addictions to creep in, and filling that or substituting it with something that's going to help you be more productive. So that's what I recommend. And if you're struggling with addiction, just know that you're not alone. We all deal with something. The best thing you can do is talk to those around you who are your support group, your family, friends, and just speak to someone. That way we can confront it. If you're struggling with any kind of addiction, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're healing. And God hasn't left you. We just got to allow him in to help us heal. Stay blessed, guys. We'll see you in the next episode next week.